So, Robert, how do you see today shaping up? A lot of wild day, roller coaster ride in the markets yesterday. What's your word of the day?
Word of the day is patience. Investors have to be patient. And right now, this is where volatility meets opportunity. So if an investor has some dry powder, some cash on the sidelines, and now don't chase, the volatility of the market, but let the volatility provide the opportunity, you can actually do quite well in a market like this.
All right, so with all this volatility, how are you looking at the market? Are there certain sectors you see as perhaps a safe haven, others that you're just going to stay away from because of all the uncertainty when it comes to tariffs and what could happen going forward?
Yeah, you kind of want to insulate your portfolio. Some of the six sectors that help us do that, financials. Financials have actually outperformed year to date, as well as we saw last week what utilities can do as well. So financials, utilities, and even healthcare, we could see do quite well throughout the year, insulating your portfolio from some of the headlines that we're seeing on a daily basis.
All right, so we want to get to your pick as well. What's your pick for us today and why?
Well, sticking with our thesis, Amazon has continued to be one of the best moving forward of the Mag 7. We still like the Mag 7, but Amazon's really going to take the baton this year, and there's several reasons for that. We see continued operating margin expansion. Last quarter was up 11%, and that bottomed out from 2% at the end of 2022. And they're also leaning in to faster growing, higher margin segments like AWS and advertising. And then we factor in and layer on another segment, which is the AI business, and that could grow potentially 3 times faster than what we would see in just the AWS side of itself. So we expect 20% earnings growth from Amazon over the next 5 years for that reason.
So, Robert, let me ask you, you mentioned financials. You see that as a way to insulate your portfolio. What about Amazon? I mean, about half of their business is that retail business. Are you concerned about their exposure to tariffs and the potential impact?
Everyone's going to have, every company out there is going to have exposure to tariffs. We're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But there's always going to be a give and a get. There's always going to be those high-performing companies, those global leaders that will be able to take it in stride and use it as a competitive advantage once we know how all this shakes out. So again, Amazon is still positioned quite nicely, even to take on some of the headlines and the turbulence that we're seeing in the market.